Later.
All right, our stream is running. Okay. All right, so our next event is the market open. At 9:45, I am going to trade oil. At 9:45, we do have the Bank of Canada interest rate, and we do have a setup for that also. So I'm planning on trading that. So at the moment, we're going to head over to our normal market open. We're going to do our normal market open. And we're here early because of PPI. So I'm going to definitely look at the oil open. We've been trading the oil open, even though
France
it's
reporting that
risky
Iran is going
and
to retaliate against the attack on energy infrastructure.
making money on it. So let's put our chart CL.
The German two-year yield jumps nearly 6 basis points to around 2.435%.
CL. Now,
But
the
the Italian
risk
two-year is up
of CL
7.2
this
basis points
morning
as well, around
is again,
2.671%.
you've got world news.
FARS
All
saying
right?
that Iran
You've
will hit
got
enemy
world
sites
news.
previously thought to be
So
safe. So again, according to FARS News, Iran will hit enemy sites previously thought to be safe in retaliation against attack
YM
on energy infrastructure. S&P
0626,
futures seeing some further weakness on the back of that, bit of strength in WTI oil as well.
RTY 0626. First things first, let's adjust our RTY reverse continue 35 target, 35 stop. Let's label it RTY. All right, we have
So
an
Iran's
RTY
semi-official
setup,
FARS News here is citing sources connected to the military with these headlines.
and then we have an RTY magnet, high of day, low of day. It was set up for the YM, and I think the setup for the RTY and YM, they can be very similar. I'm just going to relabel it RTY magnet for the moment, and I'm going to leave the RTY alone. It's got a magnet on it, and it's got a reverse continue on it. And I'm not really trading the RTY at the moment. Hang on, I accidentally put two reverse continues, so let me get rid of one of them. And the magnet, high of day, low of day. See, it's at the lows, so you don't want to be trading it now. We'll just watch signals at the moment. Just going to watch signals on the RTY. Later, we'll get our RTY open. The YM, let's look at oil. So oil, first thing we do, we put our reverse continue on the oil chart. Oil might be too volatile to trade the open this morning because of the world news. That's the reality. It just might be too volatile to trade the market open. 30 tick target, 30 tick stop, all right, on the reverse continuation. And we'll trade oil in 37. We'll label it CL reverse continue. And let's see what we do in 37. Let's trade it in 35. 35 is what we traded the trap in this morning. It doesn't really matter. I have to fix my RTY. I've got wrong accounts. So RTY, both of them should be, nope, I take it back. I'm okay. RTY, they're fine. RTY is fine. All right, oil, we're going to trade it in 35. Oil's making new highs on the world news. Apply it and okay it. Our market open on oil, it is risky because of world news. I mean, everything is moving more than it normally moves. So we have a template for the market open. Maybe we go to a bigger bracket, right? I think I called it oil open, oil new open. Oil new open. Right click, we'll put the date on the 18th and we will load it. It's a 15 bracket. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. Target of 8, target of 20, stop of 25. Target 1 stop move goes to break even. Now, I'm going to leave it in sim for a moment. Time is on 0. We'll trigger at 8:59:59 is the normal trigger, 8:59:59. But watch what happens with our 15 bracket if we put it on the chart. You're going to see it's going to get challenged
Order submitted.
for a fill.
Order canceled. Order submitted.
That's chopping.
Order canceled.
It might be that a 20 bracket is better this morning. If you just look at the size of this candle, so let's look at this candle because this is not outrageous. That's a 30 tick candle 2 candles ago. Okay? 30 tick candle 2 candles ago. 6 or 7 candles ago, we had a 91 tick candle. So you see why this could be a risky breakout trade? It might be just a scalp to the long side where you just take a random scalp based on the world news. That might be a smarter trade,
Tasnim News
right?
reports that Iran's IRGC
I
is to
think the
issue a warning to
breakout
Gulf countries
is
soon.
ultra high risk. I think the breakout's ultra high risk. I'm not sure you even want to take a short trade on oil right now, right? So, you have to decide, does it make sense to trade it on a breakout? It probably doesn't. It probably doesn't. So I think, honestly, folks, I'm not that interested in the breakout this morning. I think it's not a safe trade. Now, maybe it's going to calm down a bit. Maybe it's going to calm down a bit. We do have a reverse continue. And, we're trading in a prop account that is pretty new and pretty much flat. You can use the adjust button. I mean, I think if you want to trade this event, there's no denying that it's risky, right? There's no denying it's risky. While I'm thinking, I'm going to put a reverse continue on our YM chart in the middle. One position, 35 tick target, 35 tick stop. YM reverse continue. And then YM reverse continue. YM, I'll also throw a magnet on this chart. Um, high of day, low of day doesn't really make sense at the moment because it's at the high of day, low of day. All right. So I'm going to use a 50 stop. I'm just going to watch in off at the moment. 50 stop, one position.
The
50
IAEA
stop, one
has said that Iran
position.
hasn't moved highly enriched uranium
If I trade
stockpiles.
anything on the
So
YM at the moment, it
IAEA
would be
Director General
reverse
Grossi speaking in
continue.
Washington, again saying that the IAEA assumes that Iran hasn't moved high in uranium enriched stockpiles.
And I am trading YM in my funded account if I take a trade. All right. Now, so CL, I guess I'm going to take the shot. It's a prop account. It's not that meaningful of an account. I'm going to take the shot on crude breakout at the open. It has calmed down a little bit. So we have a CL breakout, right? One more time to go over the setup. I'm going to trigger at 9:59, 8:59:59. I'm not going to goof up the time. Going to use the 15 bracket. I'm tempted to just only let it go long, but I'm not going to try to outthink anything. I'm just going to let it trade. 15 on the bracket, 8 and 20 on the targets. Target 1 is 8, target 2 is 20. The stop is 25. Target 1 stop move is break even. We've tested the bracket with 0 time. We can test it again.
Order submitted.
It's pretty tight because volatility has picked up.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
Now, it's picking up again. It's picking up again. You could just scalp this, right? What if you just think, well, maybe oil's just going to the long side, right? You could just take a long here and put a 30 tick stop on it and see where it gets you. I mean, it just looks like it's going to go to the moon. It's only $1.40. It's only $1.40.
Order submitted.
I'll go for 10 ticks here if I can get it.
Order
All
filled.
right. So we got like 8 ticks out of that little scalp. All right. Um, so we have our CL reverse
IAEA Director
continue,
General Grossi
and then
says
you have
that
to
the
decide.
IAEA cannot
I
inspect
think the
Iran while
breakout is
hostilities
not
are
a
ongoing.
wise trade. I just don't think it's a wise trade. So I'm going to pass on the oil breakout. We just made $100 on a little scalp. I may just, I don't even think a magnet is a great trade on oil because it's just responding to news now that it's not normal trading. You know, you could try scalps, little scalps here and there. Um, but it's the fear of missing out that makes me want to trade that breakout. We're just here testing. You know what I mean? We're here testing. It's almost impossible not to do it because we're just here testing. So here is the setup if you're going to do it. If you're crazy like me. Bracket is 15. I suppose we could make that bracket 20. Let's see where that bracket lines up one more time. We have 5 minutes, 4 minutes. 8 and 20 on the targets, 25 on the stop. And target 1 stop move is break even. All right. On sim still. Here's what your brackets look like.
Order submitted.
Now I think it'll
Order canceled.
survive a 15 bracket. The question is, will you get a good fill? Will it be crazy fast? Will it just be nuts? Right? So I think I'll trade it on an account that I haven't made money on. Okay? So I'll put my reverse continue and my oil breakout on an account we haven't made money on today. Just a fresh account. And let's see what happens. All right, let me triple check. Account number 36 just got reinstated. Put the chart trader on 36. I don't think a magnet makes much sense right now on crude. I mean, there will be signals. Let's make sure our time, we put it back. 8:59:59, bracket 15. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1, target 1's 8, target 2 is 20, target 1 stop move BE,
IRGC issue
stop
evacuation
loss
warnings for
25.
several energy facilities across the Gulf. Again, state media reporting that Iran's Revolutionary Guard issues an evacuation warning for several energy facilities across the Gulf. Says some Gulf energy sites are now legitimate targets. So Iran's Tasnim has actually published a list of facilities. They're in Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. South China Morning Post report that Chinese military are to have talks with the EU and NATO in Brussels.
One more minute. So we have YM, there's not a trade now, just waiting for the open on the YM, okay? RTY, same, waiting for the open on the RTY, trying the oil open. High risk.
The effective Fed fund rate was unchanged at 3.64% on March 17th.
So it may not be a safe trade.
UK's Chancellor Reeves says it is frustrating that there doesn't seem to be a plan for the Hormuz Strait closure.
Order submitted. Order filled. Order filled.
All right. It really hit target 1, moved the stop to break even, and was only able to grab 4 ticks. Okay? That's what happened on my breakout. Barely worth the energy and the stress. Barely worth the stress. Hit target 1. If you did not move your stop, you would have had a loser. It would have been a loser. But there's no question that it was maybe not the smartest trade to take. It was hard to get everything to work. So the CL breakout is done. All right, so I'm removing it. So that's what happened. It hit target 1, which was 8 ticks, and then it moved the stop to break even. And while it was reversing, it protected half the profit. That's what it was able to do. All right. So we actually made $140 on oil. We scalped $100 on the other account, and made 40 on this one, and it still looks like you can just scalp to the long side and see if oil goes to $3 up today, or if it hits 100 today. Where would you put your stop? That's tricky. Where would you put your stop if you took a long here? It's not, I don't, where would you put it at 95? That's like a lot of risk. I don't know if it, you might just want to have a random 25 tick stop. So,
South China Morning Post reporting that the EU-China security and defense consultations will take place next Tuesday. Silver falls nearly 4%.
Nitin, I'm a complete idiot. Would you post your silver
Gold down around
settings
3%
again?
as well.
I have 80 different screenshots and I never dated any of them. I don't know which one is current anymore. I have to just redo it. All right, folks. So we're now waiting for the open. And one of the issues that we're dealing with on the open is we're at lows. It doesn't seem like we're moving off the lows at the
IAEA Chief
moment.
Grossi says a new uranium
I
enrichment
guess
facility in Isfahan is underground in the nuclear complex.
8 and 9 on silver. 8 and 9.
Qatari Foreign Minister spokesperson says Israel's targeting of facilities linked to Iran's South Pars gas field is a dangerous and irresponsible step amid the current military escalation in the region.
All right, we have to think about now the market open. All right, now we're going to start thinking about the market open. Let's start fresh. So, look, our oil, my oil trading is done. I'm done. So, we had a little bit of profit on oil. Changing the chart to the MNQ, 0626. First thing we put on the MNQ chart, okay, Nitin, thank you. First things first, MNQ, reverse continue, change the breakout to a reverse continue.
Financial Times reports that MFS owner has been hit with a worldwide freezing order.
And I'll put a couple of contracts on. Target of 50 and a stop of 75. That's my MNQ reverse continue this morning. We'll label it MNQ reverse continue.
Brent crude extends gains, rising 5% to more than $108
And I'll
per
trade
barrel.
that in my funded account. Apply it, okay it.
And in the meantime as well, S&P futures
we
down
have an
around
MNQ
0.48%,
reverse continue.
Nasdaq 100 futures down spot 5, Dow futures down around spot 5.1.
I'm just thinking I have an account that I want to get. I'm just one trade away from getting funded, possibly. All right, let's leave that where it is. And then we have a breakout at the open. Right click the
Russell
chart,
2000 futures
click
as well down around
strategy.
0.8%, and we're seeing the VIX up around 1.22 points. That's lasted around 23.59.
Okay, Nitin, thank you very much. Going to load our template, add a second strategy to the MNQ chart. I'm going to grab my template, load my MNQ new open.
Qatar's foreign ministry spokesperson says that Iran's South Pars gas field is an extension of Qatar's North Field.
MNQ new open. Going to right click it, rename it 318. And it's 929.59 on the trigger. Bracket of 35.
White House Press Secretary Levitt says it's a good thing for the US that Iran's Khatib is dead. So Levitt currently
Targets
speaking on Fox News.
30 and 100. Break even on the target one stop move, and the stop loss is 125. That's where we are at the moment. Right now, I'm leaving the time at 0. Everything is labeled properly. Let's see what the chart looks like with the volatility
Order
on the
submitted.
brackets.
Order cancelled. Order submitted. Order cancelled.
All right. Testing that bracket again. It's a 35
Order
bracket.
submitted. Order cancelled.
Certainly thinking short only this morning, but I'll let the open do what the open does. So our breakout is a trigger at 929.59. Brackets 35. The number of contracts you trade is up to you. I have a target 1 of 30, a target 2 of 100, and a stop of 125. It's micro, it's 50 cents a tick. And if the first target gets hit, I'm going to break even. And I'm trying to decide where I want to trade it. I guess I'm trading it funded. Apply it and okay it. All right, so we have our setup for the MNQ. I do sometimes like to watch MNQ magnet signals. This morning is tougher because the markets, they just probably are going to be so negative. We may not get reliable signals on a day like today. You just need to be aware of that, that it might not be a reliable signal day. So if you just put the magnet on, put it on off, magnet trade enabled is off, let the high of day signals and the VWAP signals trigger. And if you see something you like, you can just use the reverse continuation trade to enter a trade. So you can really just watch your signals. You don't even have to set it up except label it. MNQ magnet. You always want to label it. If I'm gonna trade anything, you have to make sure everything's in the same account on the chart. You can't go changing charts during the open. It's just not viable. Okay. So the question is, do you want to trade the range trade on the RTY. It's been working nicely. The RTY open. Right now on the RTY, we have magnets and we have a reverse continue. But our regular open trade on the RTY is a range trade. Yeah, everyone's forgetting also that today is the FOMC also. With all this news volatility, the markets are waiting for the FOMC. That's a pretty big event. So the RTY, our opening range trade, we have a template for it. So I'll load the template, scroll over to RTY range. And our RTY is a range trade. And if you scroll down to range, it starts at 925, 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below the range. Show the range graphics on chart. Go all the way to the top. Make sure the trade type is a range trade. It ends at 930. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Target 1 is 10. Target 2 is 20. I've been using a 35 stop on this trade. I want the stop preferably to be outside of the range. And I have been going to break even if it hits my first target. Target 1 stop move BE. Yesterday, that probably cost us some money. But when you have this many setups at once, it's hard to manage. That's why if you're trading, don't trade all these setups. Over time, pick the setups you like to trade the most, one or two, maybe even one, and just concentrate on that setup every day and manage it. In other words, yes, if the RTY hits the first target, it'll move my stop to break even, but I don't really get to manage it because I've got the MNQ open and the YM going on. All right. You don't need to trade all these. I'm doing them because we're here, we're testing. All my RTY trades are in account number 32, which only needs one good trade, $100 and something to become a new funded account. So we'll turn on the range is the trade I'm trading at the open. That's the actual market open trade. And then don't forget, we have to zip over to Bank of Canada right after the open for the 9:45 Bank of Canada rate statement. They're expected to keep their rates the same. Now we do have a range trade on the YM. It's just too much. So I think for now, I'm not gonna, I don't really have a, the nice thing about having the YM range trade is when your magnets are not tradable, right? Like right now, you don't really have a YM magnet. Not a high of day, low of day, anyway. You could, I suppose, if you think the YM is going to go up, you could trade for a VWAP magnet. I don't know that we're going up on the open this morning. This is very negative news, what's going on in Iran, and this war is not a good thing. Hey, very nice. Dutchy, I just saw your message. Nice to see you. watching the MNQ, I should say. So let me go over everything that we have. I'll start on the left with the NQ. So we have a breakout on the MNQ, and we have a reverse continue, and we're watching magnets. All right. So first thing first, right click, click strategy, highlight the reverse continue. I have a couple of contracts, a 50 tick target and a 75 tick stop. I've got it labeled MNQ reverse continue, and I'm trading that in my funded prop account. If I take a trade, that's a discretionary trade. We don't usually use it in the mornings, but I put it on every chart. Then we have the MNQ magnet, and I'm just using that to watch signals. So if you've downloaded the software, MNQ magnet, the trade is off. Everything is default. I'm not trading it from inside the magnet. I'm just watching signals. I didn't really adjust anything except I put it on the same account as my other MNQ trades, but I will not be trading it from inside the magnet because I didn't set it up. I don't need to set it up on the open. I'm just watching signals. So when I turn the MNQ magnet on, it'll generate signals, and it's not a high of day, low of day, it's off. Magnet trade enabled, off, but that generates signal. And then we have our breakout trade. Our regular open breakout is a bracket of 35. It triggers at 9:29:59. Target of 30 and 100. Stop of 125. Target one stop move is break even. So Calvin, the problem with Micron is the time of the release. They release too close to the close. That's the problem. Apply it and turn on our MNQ breakout. Those 4 o'clock releases, sometimes if it's a real big mover and they release 4:01, it can be very good. Or it can sometimes give you a profit. It can be tricky. That time can be tricky. Haven't looked at Micron in a while. I mean, we've gone through some testing on it previously, and it hasn't been that viable for us. On the YM, we've got magnets on to watch. Normally we do high of day, low of day on the YM, but we're making new low, new low, new low. If we get more of a pull up, we can turn the magnet back on and go for probably a low of the day magnet test. That might be, if we get a little bit more of a pull up, I'll turn the YM magnet on. Right now the problem is we're a little close. I'll show you. So YM, we have a reverse continue on, all right? 35 target, 35 stop. And we have a YM magnet. All right, our YM magnet. Now you see why I label every trade. If I need to adjust a trade, I need to turn it off. I just think the YM is probably still too close. I'm highlighting the magnet. If I turn on the high of day, low of day, I have one position and I have a 50 tick stop. And then the magnet is in our funded account. So if you turn it on now, it's going to be high of day, low of day magnet. I might Might give it a shot. I don't anticipate a low of day magnet, right? I just don't. So it's about a 19 tick profit here. Do I want to enter early? That's the question. Where would you put your stop on the YM? Below 120 maybe? Or around 120? Or maybe up at 140 is possible. The question is, do you want to let it fill early? We've made low after low after low after low after low. You know, it's not, the magnet was
Levitt says
designed
getting
for
Iran's
magnets
nuclear
1
fuel
and
is an
2,
option that's on the
not
table,
magnet number
and the White
10.
House note that China agreed to postpone the Trump visit. We'll get the details as soon as we can.
Normally, I would let this magnet fill. Normally. I'd be surprised if the markets go up on the open. I'd rather not get filled until the open. There's a lot of risk today because of the news. You have to have um, gonads of steel to take longs, long signals this morning. Um, so the YM range, which we haven't traded it in the room yet, James, is basically the same as the RTY with an entry at 9:29.59. It's just a 1 nanosecond earlier entry. I don't know if you're out there, Langford. Is that correct? If you're out there, I do believe. So, in other words, you're starting the range at 9:25, ending it at 9:29.59. 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below. Targets. Me personally, I think Langford's using a 25 stop on that. That's a small stop for this kind of volatility. I'd probably use at least 35. But see, now I'm gonna just let the magnet trade because it's pulled way off the low. And he's had good success with that setup, James. I do believe he's been using a 25 stop. All right, we're just waiting now for the open. The RTY, you could see the range is starting to draw. Hey, Ray. We have about 800 trades set up. So everything has pulled way off the lows. Now, I'm not trading the open as if I know what's going to happen. I'm just going to let our setups trade. That's what we normally do.
Germany's Chancellor Merz says, I expect the EU Commission to review the entirety of the current EU law to make the EU more competitive.
I am. That is the range I'm using, right? 925, start the range. 930, end the range. Targets of 10 and 20. I'm using a little bit bigger stop, 35. All right, just waiting now. So there's about a minute and 20 seconds to go for the open.
One minute now until we get the
Wait,
market on open
RTY
imbalance.
is on 32.
And Germany's Chancellor Merz says that the EU trade deal with Australia is on the
YM
home stretch.
should be on 66. MNQ 66. Okay. If you're not on the correct account, you won't see your orders.
Ten seconds.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submit.
Market on
Order
open
filled.
imbalance. S&P
Order
500
filled.
sell side
All right.
213
filled.
million. Nasdaq
Yeah, I was
100
very
flat.
worried about
Dow
the
30 sell side
MNQ on
40
that
million.
trade.
Mag 7 buy side just 1 million.
RTY moved up. RTY hit the first target and pulled back. MNQ just filled short and moved up. Filled short and moved up. So MNQ was a stop. RTY target 1. YM didn't trade yet, and I'll let it do what it's going to do. I'll give the YM time. I think the YM may still test the low. I think that's a real possibility. The MNQ, I'm done because I need to put on. Here comes the YM.
Order submitted.
Now, if the YM will test the low, it may not. Look at this. The stop, it's got to be above the candle at least. I mean, it should be above, the stop should be above that structure, but I think it's still going to get stopped out. It doesn't look like it's going to work.
Order filled.
Nope, didn't work. Lousy open. lousy open this morning. Uh, we do have Bank of Canada. But it is a reason why I never trade thinking of a definite direction. I let the trade do what it normally does each morning. And more often than not, that came only a couple of ticks away from being a winning trade. It was only a couple of ticks. It just didn't get there. It didn't follow through enough. It didn't follow through enough. I'm removing some of the setups that are done, like the breakouts. The breakouts. Now, the markets, for whatever reason,
Order
they
submitted.
want to move up. Like to do a little scalp here, below the wick, below the wick. Just trading one position. And then I'm going to turn off my MNQ, MNQ, put the Bank of Canada on. And I can't win with the YM this morning, I don't think. Not going to get that follow through. Bank of Canada
The
is
Treasury Department issues
6C.
a Venezuela-related general license, authorizing certain deals involving Petroleus de Venezuela.
And I'm going to put it on a different account for the trap trade. My RTY, I'm below the candle. If it doesn't work, I mean, I don't think it's going to work now. Momentum has changed. Now, Canada, we have a trap trade. Canada, we have a trap trade. $9.45 is the event. It's been very small moving on Canada. Right click strategy, turn on trap trade. Going to trigger at 9:44.55. The stop is 25.
So in 10 minutes time now at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time,
Tier 1
we
is
do get the Bank of
12.
Canada's rate
Tier 2
decision.
is
So the
20.
forecast here is for no change on the prior
Tier 2
to
is
spot
20.
25%. We also get the Bank of Canada rate statement.
$12 and $20 on the tiers. Label it 6C trap. $9.44.55. Stop is 25. Tier 1 is 12. Tier 2 is 20. And we'll trade it on account 36.
Shares of Starbucks are down 1.7% following
Let me
the
see if I
RBC
can.
cutting the sector to perform from outperform.
Yep, 36 is fine. So we have our trap trade. And I'll also put on a reverse continue. A reverse continue for the Canada trap.
Order filled.
All right, our YM just killed me this morning. Absolutely killed me. That's bad. All right, going to get rid of my YM at the moment. I still think it's going down, but I don't want to trade it in that account right now. I've done too much damage to that account. Let me put it on a different account. YM Magnet.
Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman on the Arctic says that the West creates threats for our security.
Let's just see what happens. YM, reverse continue. Put it in that same account. We'll just leave the YM on the charts for a few minutes.
According to sources, Qatar offloads 5 LNG slots for unloading, storage, and regasification at Belgium's Zeebrugge terminal for April.
All right, so YM. I still think YM's going to test that low at some point. Now, Bank of Canada, I said I was going to put on a reverse continue. Reverse continue. Hang on one second. I'm trading the YM rather poorly this morning.
The Trump administration is expected to issue a waiver of the Jones Act shipping regulation as soon as Wednesday, according to sources.
I'm just choosing the account I want to trade the YM in, that's all.
As a reminder, a waiver of the Jones Act will make it easier for US companies to move energy commodities.
All right, so our YM is set. We have the Canada trap trade. And Canada, we're trading in 36. And I'm going to put a reverse continue on the chart for the Canada trap trade. Change the breakout to a reverse continue. Couple of positions. I'm not really expecting much of a move on Canada.
In 5 minutes' time now, at 9:45
So a
a.m.
couple of
Eastern Time, we
contracts
get
on the
the Bank of
reverse
Canada rate
continue.
decision,
Just
where the forecast is
a
for no
25
change
tick
from the prior
target
two
and a
spot
25 tick
25%.
stop.
Japan's Akazawa says, I had an online meeting with the Qatari energy minister. Seeing yields on UK gilts across short and medium duration rising around 4 to 7 basis points after falling earlier in the session.
Label it 6C reverse continue. Apply it, okay it, and let's make sure we're on the right chart. We are. All right, let's see what happens in 5 minutes on Canada. I've got the news off to the side. Maybe the YM is going to get to the VWAP. Now, this is our last event. There's no oil trade room today. My boss decided that with the war, he doesn't want to do the DMMs right now on the oil trade. So our next event will be 1:30 for the FOMC. 1:30 FOMC.
So Wire's reporting now that Trump waives the Jones Act in a bid to curb high fuel prices. The waiver applies to oil, gas, fertilizer, and
So
coal.
2 minutes to go. If the YM keeps going down, I think it's still a real possibility of testing the low. I may not be around to do it because after this Canada trade, I have to go.
One minute remaining for the Bank of
Okay,
Canada
1
rates
minute for
decision.
Bank of Canada. It's a trap trade.
Ten seconds.
All right, so the brackets are going to show up, the tiers.
Order submitted.
My chart was spread too wide, so I'm shrinking it.
No change, no change. Rate
No
remains
change in the
unchanged
rate,
at
which was
2.25%
expected, and
as
virtually
expected.
no
Seeing the rate
move.
statement now,
Virtually
Bank of
no
Canada say
move.
they will not allow
So
the
my
effect of high
fingers
energy
on the
prices to become
cancel, the
persistent
trap.
inflation. The bank will look
Now it's
through the
moving a
war's
little
immediate
bit,
impact on inflation, but the longer this conflict lasts and the wider it
but
gets,
not
the
very
bigger the
much.
risks.
I'll
The
probably
risk
just
that energy
cancel it.
prices
The
quickly
history
spread
of
to the
this
prices
trap
of other
trade
goods and
is
services
it just
looks
doesn't move
contained, according
much.
to Bank of Canada's Macklem. Persistently higher oil prices, though, would boost energy export income, but leave consumers less money for spending as well. Labour market remains soft,
So
and
I'm going to
recent trade
let
data
that
suggests
go.
ongoing
I'm going to
weakness in
let that go.
exports.
That's just not
Macklem
very
adds
much of
that
a move, folks.
uncertainty is acute.
That's not
Economic
really a
weakness
tradable
combined with
trap
rising
trade.
inflation is a dilemma for
All right,
central banks. And the
going to let
Bank
it
of
go.
Canada note that the
Order
recent data
canceled.
suggests
Now I'm going to
near-term
turn off,
Canadian
say
growth will be
goodbye to
weaker than
YouTube. Thanks
anticipated
everybody
in
for watching
January.
this morning
They
on
say the
YouTube.
sharp
We'll
increase in
stream
gasoline
tomorrow.
prices will
Hit
push
the
up
like
total
button
inflation in the coming
if you
months,
would, and hit
and risks
the
to growth
notification
look
bell.
tilted to the
You'll know the
downside.
next
But
time we're
inflation
streaming.
risks
So
have
thank
gone
you
up.
on YouTube.
Middle East conflict